I want you to think about the last time you genuinely, truly felt seen by another person. Not liked on Instagram, not replied to on WhatsApp, not tagged in a meme. Actually seen by another human being who was actually present with you. And if you had to think for more than 3 seconds, this video is for you because here are the numbers that will shock you cold. 1.25 billion people on this planet feel lonely, regularly. And this is 1 in 6 human beings, confirmed by the World Health Organization in their global report in 2025. And the WHO has declared loneliness a global health threat. Not a mental health trend, not a millennial problem, actual health threat. And here is the part that will make you deeply uncomfortable. The loneliest generation on earth is not the elderly. It is people aged from 19 to 29, the most digitally connected generation in human history. More followers, more friends lists, more group chats than any generation before them, and yet the loneliest. Stay with me because what is happening here is not what you think it is. Let me paint you a picture. A 2023 Meta Gallup survey across 142 countries found that 24% of people aged 15 and older, roughly 1 in 4, reported feeling very or fairly lonely. This is not a fringe statistic. This is a quarter of the world. In India, specifically, 43% of adults have experienced loneliness at least sometimes. In urban areas alone, a 2021 study found that 43% of Indians living in cities experience some form of loneliness. Among those over 45, the number jumps to 48 to 65%. And the health consequences are not abstract. Loneliness raises your risk of premature death at the same level as smoking 15 cigarettes a day. It increases your risk of heart disease by 29%, stroke by 32%, dementia by 50% among older adults. The WHO estimates loneliness is linked to approximately 9 lakh deaths every year globally. This is 100 deaths every single hour. We have tobacco warnings, we have obesity campaigns, and we have no policy for loneliness. Now let me tell you why this is happening, and I want to give you 4 reasons that span every country, every culture, every single generation. 1. Social media gave us the performance of connection without the substance of it. When you post a photo, you are broadcasting. When someone likes it, you are being acknowledged. This feels like connection. The brain gets a dopamine hit, but it is not connection. Connection requires vulnerability, presence, the willingness of being imperfect in front of someone who stays anyway. A study from UNC Health in 2023 found that heavy social media use rewires the brain to prioritize digital validation over human connection. The more time you spend online, the more your brain craves the quick hit of a notification, and the less satisfying a slow, real conversation becomes. 73% of Americans in a 2024 survey said technology contributes to loneliness, and 66% simultaneously said it helps them build relationships. We are using the same tool to build a wall and convince ourselves that it's a window. 2. Marriage and relationships are hiding loneliness, not solving it. In India and globally, we have been conditioned to believe that the solution to loneliness is marriage. Get married, problem solved. But research consistently shows that the loneliest people on earth are not the ones who are single. They are the people who are in relationship where they feel unseen, where they perform companionship without experiencing it. 39% of single adults report loneliness, but 22% of married adults do too. And that number is almost certainly underreported because admitting loneliness in a marriage feels like admitting failure. And loneliness inside a relationship is the cruelest crime because you cannot even explain it without sounding ungrateful. 3. Office culture sold us friendships that were actually just proximity. The people you spend 9 hours a day with, do you actually know them? Do you know what keeps them awake at night? Do you know what they are afraid of? Or what are they grieving about? Or do you just know their job titles, their coffee order, or their opinion of the last meeting? Work friends are real, but they are often built on shared circumstances and not on genuine choices. And when the circumstances end, the job changes, the project ends, you move cities, most of those friendships evaporate. The UN report specifically flagged the decline of what sociologists call third places. Cafes, clubs, community spaces, places of worship, where casual, repeated contact used to build real bonds. They are disappearing. Remote work removed the incidental socializing of offices, and nobody built anything to replace either. 4. Urban migration severed us from the only community that asked nothing of us. Millions of Indians move to cities for work every year. They leave behind the streets they grew up on, the neighbors who watched them grow, the chaiwala who knew their name without being told. They arrive in a city where nobody knows them, where apartments are boxes stacked on boxes, where the person next door has lived there for 3 years and never spoken to. In a village, loneliness was structurally difficult. Someone always knew where you were going, someone always came looking. In cities, loneliness is structurally easy. Nobody will notice even if you disappear. I want to make a distinction that most people spend their lives missing. Company is physical presence. Connection is emotional. You can be in a room full of people, a wedding, a family dinner, a party, and be profoundly, achingly alone. Because everyone is performing their roles and nobody is actually present. Psychologist Robert Weiss identified in 1973, and decades of research has confirmed that loneliness is not about the number of people in your life. It's about the quality of intimacy you experience. You need people to know your full story. Not the edited version you perform at work, not the curated version you post online. The full, complete, unresolved, and sometimes embarrassing story. And here is the crisis point. We have systematically dismantled that structure that used to create that kind of intimacy. We moved away from our families, we changed cities for our career, and we replaced slow conversations with quick texts. We learned to present instead of reveal. We built enormous audiences and lost our ability to have an audience of one. The irony of social media era is this, that we have never been more visible and we have never felt less known. 43% of Indians in urban areas feeling lonely despite living in one of the most densely populated country on earth. 1.4 billion people, touching distance from each other at every train, every market, every lift, and still alone. The research on this is surprisingly clear and surprisingly simple. Frequent small interactions beat occasional large ones. You don't fix loneliness with a big annual reunion or once a month dinner. You fix it with 5 minutes phone call you make regularly. The message you send that says, I thought of you today. The habit of showing up in small ways consistently. Consistency beats intensity always. Voice and in-person contact work. Passive scrolling does not. Liking someone's photo does nothing for your loneliness. Calling them and hearing your voice, even for 7 minutes, does. The warmth in a voice, the pause before someone answers, the sound of someone actually present, these register in ways that text simply cannot. You need people who know your name in the dark. Not your work name, not your social media name, your actual name. The name your oldest friend uses, the name your mother uses when she's worried about you. And if you cannot think of 3 people who would notice immediately if you went quiet for a week, that is a signal. Not to spiral, but to act. The UK, facing the same epidemic, appointed a Minister of Loneliness in 2018. It funded community organizations, launched campaigns, partnered with WhatsApp and TikTok to actively encourage real conversation. It treated loneliness as infrastructure, not a personal failure. India has 43% of urban adults lonely and zero policy on social connection. And that gap is not acceptable. I want to say something directly to whoever needed this video today. You are not weak for feeling lonely in a crowd. You are not ungrateful for feeling unseen despite having everything. And you are not broken for having hundreds of contacts and nobody to talk to at 2 a.m. You are just living inside a system that optimized for performance and forgot about presence. The fix is not the app. It's not a life hack. It is the terrifying, inconvenient, irreplaceable act of letting one person know you. Start here. Drop a comment and tell me when was the last time you truly felt seen by another person. You don't have to write the name, just when. Share this with someone who is actually surrounded by many people and still somehow unreachable. And subscribe to my channel for psychology, power and truth that takes courage to say out loud. You are not alone in your loneliness. but the door only opens from the inside.
In a country of more than 60 million people, and in an age where we can instantly connect with friends, relatives, and even strangers around the world, it may seem counterintuitive that any of us could find ourselves feeling lonely. Yet more than 9 million of us say that we always or often feel lonely. 200,000 older people have not had a conversation with a friend or a relative in more than a month. Up to 85% of young adults with disabilities say they feel lonely most days. As Jo herself used to say, loneliness doesn't discriminate. But just as loneliness can affect any of us, so any of us can help to tackle it. Highlights a range of areas where action is needed. And in response, we will create a new dedicated fund that will see government working with charities, foundations and others to stimulate innovative solutions, provide seed funding for community initiatives and scale up existing projects. And all this work will be overseen by our new ministerial lead on loneliness, Tracy Crouch. She'll be keeping the challenge of tackling loneliness firmly on the agenda of colleagues across Whitehall.